Hey, welcome back to the shop. It's a Friday afternoon, and look what came back. Anyway, this is the bike that Ab and I and Mike were working on, I don't know, a couple of months back. We got it running. It was one that Mike had bought from one of the club members who passed away last year. Anyways, Mike got it home, and it had been working okay in the shop, but we couldn't road test it or anything because it didn't have a license plate or anything on it. But now it's got a plate on, as you can see right there under the tail light, so it's good to go. Anyway, it went back to working like a duck with one wing. So anyway, I got to sort out what the problems are with the bike. It can't be too much with it anyways. I'll start with one simple little thing. The brake light just stays on all the time, so I will take that off of there. I think this switch is dirty on the inside, so I'll start with that. But as you can see, I've got the air filters off. This carburetor seems to be working quite well. The one on the other side appears to have a clogged pilot jet again, because when I adjust the air screw, nothing happens. So I'll have another look at that, and I may end up changing the float bowls out, because I believe those are the bowls off the Wassel carburetors, but they may not be. Let me just feel underneath. No, there's no those are the older Amel type bowls, because there's no drain bolts on them. Anyway, I got to sort out the carbs, and maybe then I can get it out on the road, and once it's sorted out, see if I can get it running half decent, and do a little shakedown on it and see what falls off. Right, so there's that little Lucas brake light switch taken off the bike. As you can see, somebody has had it apart before, because it's all full of that blue silicone in there. So anyway, I'm going to peel that out of there, find out what's in there. In the meantime, I'm just going to put this on pause. And that's all that's in there. Just something a little finer to poke with here. Just a little set of spring-loaded points that make contact with another set of points right there. They're a little dirty looking. Anyway, I'll clean everything up and make sure everything's working like it's supposed to, and get it back together, and it should be okay. There it is, all ready to go back in place. I cleaned up the points in there. I put a new spring in behind the movable set of points, and of course it's Lucas, made in England. You know, people like to make fun of Lucas products and that, but look, that thing's, what, 55 years old? Pretty little switch, all that nice chrome on it, but it's 55 years old. All I had to do was clean it up, put it back together again, and it's probably good for another 55 years. You know, you want to make fun of Lucas stuff, that's fine, but there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing. There it is, back in place, working like it should. So that's that little problem looked after. Now let's get the bowl off of that other carburetor over there on the right hand side. Yeah, I think I might have found what the answer to all my problems were all along with this particular bike anyway. This flange on the cylinder head was slightly warped, and that flange on the carburetor was very warped. And when I noticed that, I said, oh, that's why it doesn't want to idle properly. You know, at idle, that's when your vacuum is the highest, and that's when you're going to get most of your vacuum leaks. So anyway, I filed that surface, and then I lapped it on the drill press table and with a piece of sandpaper, and I got a nice flat smooth surface there. This one here, I just finished filing it. I think I'm just going to leave that as is, and then put some new what do you call these things? This is the old one. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll just check it for flatness, but I'm pretty sure that one's still okay. Anyway, I'm going to put that back in there. Put a gasket on one side, and also a bit of Permatex too to help seal that up. And I think this bike might all of a sudden decide that it's going to run happily. Let's see what happens. Alright, sounds a lot better now that it's not sucking air in around that flange. Still needs a little work. The cables are not quite adjusted right, and I have to get at those, make some changes, but yeah, things are coming. We're getting there, one step at a time. Did forget to mention how many times I had that carburetor off of there and had it apart. I think I had it off about 3 times and had the carburetor completely apart, trying to figure out why, you know, I couldn't get any adjustment on my air screw, right? Because that automatically just screams, hey, you've got a blockage, but it wasn't a blockage at all. It was an air link in the flange, as I had mentioned before. But yeah, sometimes this kind of stuff, this leakage around here, doesn't happen often, but it does happen often enough, you know, that it does rear its ugly little head now and then here in the shop. So person got to keep an open mind. Like when you run out of answers for this end, then the only other thing it could be was some kind of an air leak. And I did check that crossover tube several times to make sure it wasn't cracked or loose or anything. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this little video up for now. Next week we'll get into the fine-tuning of these things and getting them set up right and balanced. And these are a 1 cable into 2 through a splitter box, a la Triumph and Norton. But I think now don't quote me on this, but I think the original BSA setup was a 2 cable setup. So I'm going to need to make a couple of little changes to these cables, because this one here, there's still some adjustment on the cable, but the other one there isn't. It's right down against the nut. So I'm going to have to make allowances for that, and that means I'm going to have to take the mixing chamber tops off again and take the slides out. Well, there's 2 options here to doing that. I mean, I could take the carburetors off and do it that way, or I could take the gas tank off and do it that way. It's probably easier to just take the gas tank off and do it. So that's probably what I'll do. Anyway, I'll get into that next week. I'm rambling. So thanks for watching. Be good to each other. And tune in next week, and we'll see if I can get this thing sorted out and running up and down the road a little bit.